Our planet is called the blue planet for a good reason. About 71% of the Earth's surface is made of water. It is the planet's intricate system of rivers, lakes, and oceans that creates the perfect conditions to sustain life. But only less than 3% of the water found on Earth is fresh water. This precious resource is now under threat from human activity, also impacting ecosystems, soils, and destabilizing the climate. We must take urgent action to safeguard water to preserve its life-supporting role on this planet. The climate is changing, and we can see it in the water cycle. In the last decades, we have seen increasing extremes, storms, and sea levels. Unprecedented floods on all continents. In 2021, it rained on Greenland. Droughts are occurring all over the globe, but especially threatening Africa. With climate change, we are pushed into the unknown, and the extremes we see are only the beginning. Water flows in rivers and streams, and through plants, soils, underground and in the air, falling as rain. A functioning biosphere can regulate and moderate extremes and provide valuable water services. A functioning biosphere can become a catalyst for a virtuous cycle of social and economic benefits. Urban areas are hotspots of risks and impacts, but also an important part of the solution. Water has the potential to trigger progress throughout society. Take the example of Rotterdam.
We introduced, for example, our famous concept of the water squares. The whole idea behind this is to, again, increase the urban quality, increase even social cohesion, because there are places where people can meet, but design it in a way that it is also capable to store excessive rainfall, for example, stormwater. And in this way, we also, together with the citizens, developed rain gardens, but also developed a huge program on green roofs.
Heavily urbanized and vulnerable to sea level rise and flooding. Today, it is a city transformed by innovation with water resilience as part of its DNA. The story of Rotterdam is a story about living with water. It is a joint effort of many different experts, urban planners, water experts, and many other city stakeholders that work together. Cities and their citizens must join forces to increase water-resilient development. We can do this together. Climate change is a threat to the well-being of humans and the health of the planet. Adaptation is no longer a choice, but a necessity, and we must do it now. Climate change impacts the water cycle and everything else that depends on water. This includes farmlands, vegetations, infrastructure, supply chains, reservoirs, etc. But often the climate conversations exclude the importance of water.
There are enormous costs to economies globally from storms, floods, and droughts. 90% of disasters are water-related. A revolution of finance is needed to mobilize the funds and resources necessary to accelerate adaptation because money is not flowing at the pace or scale needed. We need further develop domestic financial markets to establish a collaboration between the public and the private and blend resources to reduce the barriers to invest. Investing in resilient infrastructure will generate the millions of jobs and provide water, ecosystem, and energy services. This is why investing in water and climate is the way to go.
This will support collaborations across sectors and build partnerships for accelerated adaptation action at multiple levels. We need concerted adaptation action at the national level in order to secure our lives and livelihoods now and for the future. Connecting water and climate needs to be a top priority at COP27 and COP28 and at the UN Water Conference 2023.
For the first time in 46 years, the UN will come together, the world will come together on the issues of water across the whole Sustainable Development Agenda. And that means including climate. Look forward to meet you on our road to 2023, working together on the issues of water and climate adaptation.
We invite you to discuss our future and how to link water and climate. Please join us in the way forward. The 2021 IPCC report was clear. We have no time to waste. The windows of opportunity for climate action is closing fast, and we have no planet B. For many countries, it is adapt or die. We need to scale up and accelerate adaptation. The climate risk is real, but it also presents huge returns on investment. It is possible to quadruple every US dollar invested.
Africa loses $7 to $15 billion a year due to climate change, which could rise to $50 billion a year by 2040. The continent will need $336 billion to adapt to climate change. The African Development Bank will double its climate finance to $25 billion by 2025. We are sharply focusing on adaptation. With the African Adaptation Acceleration Program, we expect to reach 40 million farmers. We plan to help farmers to produce 100 million metric tons of food, and that will be enough to feed 200 million people. And with that, we will cut the hunger in Africa down by 80%.
Investing in adaptation is not only the right thing to do, it is the smart thing to do. The cost of inaction is 15 times higher than the cost of taking action. We need to act now. We cannot postpone building a better and more resilient future. Our voice and action will strengthen upcoming milestone moments such as COP27 and the UN 2023 Water Conference. Every second counts. Humans have never been confronted with such a decisive challenge. Society is on a self-destructive path towards water scarcity, health risks, food insecurity, and worst forms of poverty. But we do not stand helpless against the impacts. There are solutions for humanity to adapt to the impacts of climate change. We can build the resilience of vulnerable communities to withstand climate variabilities. At GCA, we are working with our partners to broker solutions to accelerate, innovate, and scale adaptation action for a climate-resilient world. A world where our water systems and livelihoods will be secured.